It's the King J, back with another video. Today I want to talk about Tekken 8 and how to get involved in the game. So I've prepared a beginner's guide for you so that you can get up to speed very quickly. I'll be talking about how to attack and defend, the game system, movement, and the heat mechanics, and how to combo. So I hope you enjoy this guide. Don't worry, if you want to learn more, there will be intermediate and advanced guide coming out in the future. So yeah, make sure to keep it locked on this channel and subscribe. All right, here we go. Alright, so I'm now going to teach you the basics of Tekken 8. So as you can see, this is a fighting game, right? So there's two fighters, there's player 1, player 2. Player 1 has a health bar, player 2 has a health bar, right? You also have a time limit. Right now it's set to unlimited time because we're in practice mode, but usually it is 60 seconds. If it runs out, then what happens is the person with the most health wins that round, and it will show you the percentage if it gets a timeout. You also got a number of wins which is displayed above your health bar, but again we're in practice mode so you cannot see this. Also as well, you have a heat gauge where I'll talk about that later on, but it's kind of like a momentum shift if you use it, and it gives you certain perks. In this game there are hit properties, so you have a high, mid, and a low. With a high you can duck. With a mid you can't duck. I know some 2D fighting games you can duck mids, but in this game you cannot duck mids. And then you've got lows as well, which you can duck lows but you cannot stand because you'll get hit by the lows, right? You also have moves that are called unblockables, where they charge up and do a powerful attack. But I think majority of characters only have one, whereas characters like Yoshimitsu have several unblockable moves. A new addition to Tekken 8 is recoverable health. In some fighting games in the past, like Street Fighter 5 and Street Fighter 6, they also have this, where some moves give recoverable health. It takes damage from your health bar, but it also has recoverable health if you attack the opponent successfully. So yeah, that is the new addition. Also, if you're in heat, which we're going to explain later on, all your attacks do recoverable damage, whereas if I just done it like this, it doesn't. We are going to get into heat later on in the beginner guide, but we're now going to move on to how to move in Tekken 8. With movement, you can move back or backdash, which you just double tap back. But to walk back, you just hold back. To jump, you hold up, up back, up forward. You can walk forward by holding forward, or dash forward by tapping forward. You can run by pressing forward and then hold forward. So if you're at this space here, it runs. You can crouch move forward by pressing down forward. To step, you tap down. To step the other way, you tap up. To walk, you can tap down and then hold. Like this. To walk the other way, same way, up and then hold. And then to guard, you would have to block by holding back. If you want to block low, down back and hold. For reasons for stepping, you want to avoid moves. So say for example, you know, there's a character that's doing a move and you want to sidestep. So this will be your reason for sidestepping moves, is because you want to avoid getting hit, and sidestepping is key in this game. Most moves you can sidestep one way, some other moves you can sidestep both ways. With this move I can't sidestep one way, so I have to sidestep the other way. And the reason why you need to do this is so that you can have the advantage on your opponent and interrupt. The reason why backdashing is good is so you can get away from opponents as well. So if someone's really coming close, you can backdash and get out of the way. But then when you can't backdash, you would have to sidestep. So yeah, that is the general rule when it comes to movement in Tekken. So there are more intermediate and advanced stuff like Korean backdash to get away from your opponent. You know, if you want to get away from your opponent quick, you would want to do Korean backdash. And there are stuff like wave dash as well. But I have guides on that for the intermediate and advanced players. This is the beginner guide. So go check them out on the channel and remember to subscribe. All right, so we're gonna get into attack and defense. Now there's a bunch of things that I want to talk to you about, so make sure you get your popcorn, you drink, and you listen. So first thing is, obviously with attacks, you got left punch, left kick, right kick, right? And you know, I'm gonna be talking in Tekken notations. So yeah, hopefully you lot can kind of get to grips with it quite quickly, because it's something that everyone uses and it's not difficult. It's just like it's muscle memory. Kind of remember like how to talk it, but it's fine. So first things first, you got attacks, you got strings. So like these are things where it's more than one hit and sometimes can be delayed as well. So like you got like, you know, down forward 1, but I've got extension to it. So I can press down forward 1 and then 1 plus 2, right? And then down forward 1, 1 plus 2, 2. So that's like 3 buttons I have to press. And there's 3 stages to the string, right? Most moves that have like 2 or 3 stages, some have 4 or 5, they're known as strings. You also have stuff like homing moves. So as you can see, if you look at the bottom left, it shows a full circle. This icon means the move is homing. If it doesn't show the homing, then it means it's not homing. So then now, we also have moves that do chip damage. Now, if they're standing block, you can see that some moves do chip damage, whereas some don't, right? Some moves do more chip damage than others. It's not like a set number of how much chip damage it does. Some just do more than others. And then obviously we spoke about recoverable health. Some do grey health. You can recover grey health by just attacking back successfully. We got Power Crush as well. So Power Crush absorb attacks. So Leroy's one is forward, and you can kind of see like that kind of wind come from him. That wind effect. Like every character that does a Power Crush, the wind effect comes from him like this. Majority of them are like -12 or -13, but if they're high Power Crushes, it varies. So yeah, most of them are mid and high Power Crushes. Yeah, there we go. As you can see. Then also as well, you got stuff like low parry. So I'm gonna set Feng to do a low. This is generic to everyone. Everyone has this. And then you could continue on your combo, right? Into whatever low parry combo you want to do. This is very useful if you can kind of predict that someone's going to do a low attack. There's also things like sidestepping certain things. So say for example, if I got Feng to do this, you can try to sidestep. But because the low is really good, it's hard to sidestep. So we're going to try another move. Let's try this. So tracks that way, tracks this way. But if you sidewalk, it doesn't. So this is good for like defensive strategies. If you really want to do something like sidewalk and then punish them, you can do that, right? So this is why it's always good to use practice mode and see what moves that are giving you trouble and then try them out. There's no harm in, you know, losing matches. That's one thing I want to get with this beginner guide, is to show you that there's no harm in just like learning from your losses, you know, taking the replays and then going into practice and then studying what you did wrong, right? Like this is what the game is about. Like a lot of people that play the game have had to take a lot of losses or lose to characters that they don't like in order to then learn and then become better at the matchup or becoming better at the game in general. I see a lot of people talk about this on social media, like when to sidestep, when is the right time. The best time to sidestep, in my opinion, is, I would say sometimes if you get hit, some of the moves are heavily like in the opponent's advantage, but sometimes like little moves like down forward 1, they'll be like +6 and stuff like that. I don't want to talk too much about frames because again, this is a beginner guide, but these moves that are like heavily on advantage, sometimes it's just good to backdash, depending on your range. Like, look, this is hitting me, but I'm moving backwards. So I would then try to move back again. Or I would then try to sidestep because I am not too close to my opponent. So yeah, those would be the times. So like, say for example, if someone's just trying to do this. Let's have a look. Okay, we're going to save this. So this is what pressure people will probably do. See, I'm out of the way, right? So you could do sidestep around here or sidewalk. So these will be the good times. This will not work with homing moves because, as I said, these moves track to the left and the right. And those moves are essentially there to keep you from sidestepping. So just bear that in mind. This game also has Power Crush, which absorbs attacks like this. And then can give you the momentum. So each character has their own unique Power Crush. You need to go into your move list and have a look and see which one is a Power Crush. You can also use this icon to help, which is this one here. That is a Power Crush. Some characters have moves that delete your recoverable health. So be careful. Shaheen is another person that can do delete recoverable health move. And yeah, if you're on the other end and you're fighting against these type of characters, you do not want to get hit by these things because it's like you won't be able to recover your health, and it can be a scary situation in a game like Tekken 8. First things first, everyone has a normal generic throw, which is 1+3, 2+4. So these are known as generic grabs, as every character has them, and you can break them with either pressing 1 or 2. Then if you look at the move list, which I'm going to show you now, I know there's a couple others, like giant swing and stuff, but I want to get you used to looking at the move list, right? So at the bottom of the move list, it shows a bunch of throws, and King is known to have a lot of multi-throws. And there's other characters that are like this as well. I would say the characters that are good at throws is King, Nina, Jack, Harung, Dragunov. I would like to say Jin as well, because Jin has a 1 break, 2 break, and a 1+2 break command grab. But the characters that excel in throws, I would say it would definitely be King. He's like the #1 grappler in the game. Then you got like Jack. So yeah, these characters are all known to have good throw game in Tekken 8. There's also ways how to break throws in Tekken. Usually in fighting games, you would press throw back and you can break the throws, and then generic grabs, they seem to be unbreakable. But in this game, you can break throws by looking at your opponent's arm. So as Jin, if he stretches his left arm, that means it is a 1 break. If he does his right arm, that means it's a 2 break. And if he goes with both of his arms together like that, then that means it's a 1+2 break. So you can break the throws, right? And that's how you break throws. There's a more detailed guide for throw breaking on my channel, so go check that out. I talk about parries a lot in this section, but I just want to make sure that you're clear that there's 2 different types of parries. There are attack reversals, where when it's timed with the opponent's attack, it does damage to your opponent. And then there's parries, which parries the attack and it gives plus frames for your character. Parries like that are Jin and Leroy, and then attack reversals are for characters such as Paul, Nina, Dragunov, and the other characters that use attack reversals. In this game, there's such things called parries, but there's some that are quite unique. So for example, Leroy's parry is quite unique. Alright, so as you can see, Leroy can parry in this game. All you gotta do is press back punch. And he parries your attacks. He also has a Sabaki. And the thing with a Sabaki is it deflects punches and kicks. So it makes your opponent think twice about just pressing buttons. I would say that that version of parry is very unique to Leroy. But the one that stands out more is this parry, which most characters use. A new addition to Tekken is that hop kicks and airborne attacks beat parries. This wasn't the case in the previous games. So all of the attack reversal parries, they get beaten by airbornes. But Leroy and Jin can parry hop kicks and airborne attacks. We're now going to move on to the combo system. We're going to talk about the combo system and how it works. So you're going to be looking for like a launcher. Most characters in this game have like downfall 2, which is like a launcher. I think Pool, Lord, there's a couple others. I'll show examples. And this is to start off your combo, right? So this will be your launcher. Your launcher starts off your combo. There's also other things like counter hits and stuff like that as well. So you'd probably do this and then try and find a filler. So this is what is inside of the combo. So like, you know, like this. This is what you usually want. But now in this game, they have a thing called tornado attacks. Tornado attacks is what allows you to continue on your combo and then do a combo ender. So, you know, this will be your combo filler. This will give you the tornado attack and then you move forward and then do your ender. Right? If you get fancy, you can then do other things. So like you can do like other stuff. Now, the same thing works with counter hits. You can add other things in when you do this. So like, right? So you would have to take your character in practice mode and see what moves do these properties where it's counter hit or they launch on normal hit. Because on normal hit, this ain't gonna do that, right? But on counter hit, it will give that animation. And it's up to you what you would want the combo ender to be. You just have to look at the move list and see what moves would work well with your combo. On top of that, you can go into combo challenges and learn some of the combos. These are like pretty decent combos in there. But you could probably take some stuff and see what they use to end their combos and use it with the combos that you want to learn. So it gives you quite a free flow of what you want to use as a full combo. It's kind of like a sandwich, right? You know, you put all the stuff in that you like and yeah, you've got your sandwich that you want. So like, this is your launcher, you start off, all the stuff inside, the fillings. There you go. Also as well, you got combos that can kind of allow you to be close to your opponent. So, you know, like this. So it's up to you what combo you're going for, how the stages are in the game, and yeah, what your mindset is like. Do you want to keep them close? You don't mind, you know, pushing them away. You don't mind bringing them to the wall so you can do like a wall combo as well. Is it going to end if you keep them close? There's loads of different things you could be thinking at the time. So it's up to you. The last thing I want to talk about is wall combos. In Tekken 8, there's no stages that does not have walls. So when you get to the wall, you're going to need to learn your wall combo, right? Wall combos do pretty good damage. But now they have an addition where you can wall splat your opponent. So I could do this and then do something else, right? So I could do a standard combo, which is this, or I could do the resplat into whatever else. So you could probably do you can do that as well, right? So it all depends on what you want to do against the wall. Every character has their own unique wall combos. So yeah, have fun experimenting. All right, so we're now going to move on to heat mechanics and show you how heat works in this game. Now, it could be very scary if this is your first Tekken that you're playing, but I'm going to break it down in the best way possible. So, first things first, you have 2+3, which is your heat burst, right? Now, you also have heat burst, you have heat engagers, which are moves that go into heat. And those are the two stuff that you can use while you are not in heat. So, you've got heat burst, and it takes some of your bar. Whereas if I used a heat engager, you get all of your heat bar. And it goes down. You get roughly 10 seconds with it. But if you play well, you can recover it. You have some characters that have things that recover the heat bar, like King. If he throws you, he recovers the heat bar. If Leroy parries, he recovers the heat bar. But some characters don't have any of those things. So that is heat burst. By just pressing 2+3, heat engagers, every character has heat engagers. They're locked behind moves. If you go into your moves list, it will show you what the heat engagers are. So these are the heat moves, right? It says heat moves. One more thing before we get into that heat action is you can actually cancel heat burst by pressing back. So you're not leaving yourself open by throwing out an attack like this. Okay, so now while you're in heat, there's heat smash and heat dash. Now, heat dash is very experimental on how you want to do things. So say, for example, I go into heat and I do like a heat move. I can cancel it by pressing the heat button. So let's say, for example, I'll go into heat now. So I've just had my heat engager. See, I then can cancel it into a combo. So if I do this, look, do it again. And then I could continue on. So as you can see, I've just shown you different combos and how to use heat dash. When you do multiple hits in a combo, the combo scales. And as you can see, the bounce was different when I done the heat dash by just doing this move. So it's very experimental in terms of what combo you would want and how much scaling and what you can get after the damage scaling, because even the juggle properties become different. So yeah, just experiment and have fun with it. Heat dash is very, very good for those combo enthusiasts. So I can't wait to see what they're doing with heat dash. You also have a move called heat smash. Every character has one, but then there's some characters that have two. So as you can see here, all you need to do is press the heat button, which is 2+3. And it does their heat smash. Now the thing with heat smash is that all the mids and highs are not punishable, and they do plus, or should I say advantage on block, but the low ones are usually -12, 13, 14 and above. So be careful of using the low heat smashes in game. One more thing I want to show you is that when you're in heat, all attacks do recoverable health. All of them. And the moves that you had before that do recoverable damage do even more now. Also, while you're in heat, you get access to new moves. This doesn't apply to every character. Some characters don't. But Victor has this move with back 1+2. I cannot do that when I'm not in heat. You also have some enhancements on your moves as well. So this pushes back on heat, but then when I'm not in heat, it doesn't push back. So again, it's really fun, pretty experimental. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. We're now gonna get onto Rage. All right, so one thing to note that all heat dashes are +5. And this is universal to the whole roster in Tekken 8. We're now going to move on to Rage. For the final part of this video, I want to talk to you about Rage, because it's more than just having a Rage art, which is like your special move. Let me show you a few things. So on your move list, you have a move that's called Rage art, but that's basically set by itself. But it also says Rage art raises recoverable health on hit. So you can do this by pressing down forward 1+2, right? Or better yet, you can assign a button like I usually do, which I press R1, just to make sure that it hits. Sometimes you might press down for 1+2 and you might press like, you might get a jab or something that comes out. And you don't want that, so I just press this button. Yes. Also, when you're in Rage, your recoverable health scaling becomes a lot less than what it was if you're outside of that range. As you can see in your health bar, it's got a line on Claudio's life bar, and that line is when you go past that line, you will enter into Rage mode or Rage state. Also, to notify people that want to talk about frames, which I'm going to get into in a later video, is if you block like this, let's do stand block. If I do a Rage art and you block, they are all -15. So you would then have to do a 15 frame punishment or lower. But I'm going to get into a punishment guide at a later date. If you lot like this video, remember to subscribe, because it helps keep me motivated to do content like this and create content. Also, leave a comment on what you liked about the guide. If there's any other guides that you would like to see, please let me know. And leave your favorite emoji for engagements if you're not really a person that comments in the comment section. I'll be on to the next video, and thank you very much for supporting this channel. Take it easy. Peace.